coming up, Starbucks employees protest their place of work. And later, resources for students ahead of the fall break.
Iowa women's basketball falls to Kansas State.
And the winter weather is at a standstill in Iowa City this week. I'll tell you more in weather.
All that and more coming up on this Friday morning edition of DITV News.
Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in live to DITV and KRUI 89.7 FM.
I'm David Consuelos.
And I'm Ashley Wheel. The Iowa Board of Regents approved recommendations that will restructure departments related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Among these changes are restructuring all DEI offices not essential to accreditation, a review of all colleges and departments related to DEI, and issuing employee guidelines for separation of personal political advocacy. These recommendations come after a 9-month study by the board following attempts from the Iowa legislature to defund DEI programs. And 6 demonstrators were arrested for their participation in the Chloe Cole protest last month. The protest for the event took place outside the Iowa Memorial Union, and due to the over 100 people crowd, protesters caused interference with traffic. They blocked intersections and chanted, which caused traffic to stall on North Madison Street. Protesters eventually led a march to the University of Iowa President Barbara Wilson's house. And now we're coming up on fall break, like we were saying earlier, and I'm ready to just have a break from class, to be honest.
I totally agree, Ashley. This past week kind of beat me up a little bit, but I was excited to just wear a t-shirt to all my classes this week. It was beautiful outside.
It really surprised me how nice it's been. And we're going to send it out to DITV's Samantha Bielema, who's live outside with our forecast ahead of this break.
Yeah, Ashley, and hopefully we can get away with only 3 months of this frigid Iowa weather rather than the usual 6. I'm live downtown Iowa City right now, and it's currently 36 degrees. Taking a look at the rest of this week, we can expect a high of 50 degrees today with a low of 26 and sunny skies until the sun sets around what I would consider the very early evening. Heading into the weekend, Saturday is going to show more sun with a high of 58 degrees and a low of 29. Not much changes on Sunday, but we do see a few more clouds than normal. And starting Thanksgiving break off, it'll include some showers on Monday and Tuesday, but the temps will stay in the 40s with lows in the 20s and 30s. Wednesday will dip into the lows of 30s and at night fall into the teens with overcast skies all day. And Turkey Day will look about the same, but with more sun and, well, less roaming turkeys. And there is still an option for outdoor activity on Thanksgiving Day, but it might include a light jacket and some nose blowsing. Back to you in the studio, Ashley.
Thanks, Samantha. And an Iowa teen was sentenced to life in prison on Wednesday. 2 teens have now pleaded guilty to murdering their Spanish teacher at Fairfield High School. 18-year-old Jeremy Goodale and Willard Miller plotted to murder Nohema Graber after Miller found out he was failing her Spanish class. The 2 were discovered by police in November 2021 when the students were only 16. Family and friends of Graber were relieved to close the case 2 years later. And the Clinton Street Starbucks was forced to close a day and a half due to a workers' protest. We have DITV's Ryan Lynch live outside now at the downtown Iowa City Starbucks to explain how everything went down.
Yes, Ashley, on Wednesday the location closed down at 2 when workers staged a walkout. Workers did not show up to work again on Thursday and protested outside the establishment in the morning. Starbucks was closed down for the remainder of the day. Thursday was Red Cup Day, a holiday promotion where Starbucks gives customers a free branded reusable holiday cup when they order a holiday beverage. The Red Cup Day promotion is one of the busiest days of the holiday season for Starbucks. The establishment here in Iowa City joined over 200 other locations and over 1,000 unionized workers for the chain in their protest to negotiate fair contracts for unionized workers. Back to you, Ashley.
Thanks, Ryan. And the University of Iowa College of Law has been named a Best Value Law School. This is the 10th consecutive year that the college has been named in the National Jurist Pre-Law magazine. In response to the naming, Dean Kevin Washburn has stated that, quote, Iowa Law is a small law school and our employment outcomes are amongst the strongest in the country, end quote. Iowa Law also stated that the reason for their success is affordable tuition and the ability to attract talented students. Fall break is finally here, and some student orgs on campus are coming up with ways to help students out during the week. DITV's Cara Doolin has more.
The undergraduate student government is partnering with Anamon Concierge Services to help Hawkeyes get home this break. USG will provide shuttle rides for students from campus to the Eastern Iowa Airport until Monday, and then again for returns between November 25th and 27th. Rides will cost $20 for students, and they must be booked 48 hours in advance. And Iowa International Programs are putting on a fall break meal for students and Iowa City community members on Monday, November 21st. The goal of this event is to foster relationships between international students and the larger Iowa City community.
Oftentimes we self-select ourselves into different groups and we don't traverse those groups, and that's really the goal of this, is to break down some of those barriers and help people form those connections across those kind of lines.
Following the break, residence halls will reopen on Sunday, November 26th, and all dining halls will resume their normal hours on Monday, the 27th. Cara Doolin, DITV.
Now, while students will be on break, football and sports are going to keep going. Is that right, David?
Yeah, Ashley, like you said, big football game tomorrow. Lots of important games to be excited for. But last night there was a huge game. The Iowa women's basketball team hosted Kansas State last night, looking for their chance at revenge, but got stunned for the second straight season by the Wildcats. I have more on Iowa's struggles at Carver.
No, it wasn't really good Iowa basketball. 9 assists on 16 turnovers is really not us, but I want to give credit to Kansas State. I thought their defense was excellent. They're long. They got a good rim protector. You know, it really came down to that fourth quarter. They beat us in the fourth quarter. They beat us at crunch time.
After netting a triple-double and becoming Iowa's all-time leading scorer last Sunday against UNI, Caitlin Clark struggled offensively, shooting 9 for 32 and 2 for 16 from deep, a game that is far from her usual best.
I have to get us into our offense a little better. I have to have a little better shot selection, and there's going to be nights where I don't shoot the ball very well, and I don't think I really helped myself in getting to the basket and taking advantage of fouls when we needed to. We can still win games when we don't shoot the ball well, so there was a lot of other areas that we can also improve on, and we have to understand we're not going to shoot the ball great every game. I'm not going to shoot the ball great every game, but we have to find other ways to win.
Iowa found early success from their bigs in the first half, as Hannah Stolke would net 9 points, shooting 4 for 5 from the field after 2 quarters. However, she only attempted 1 shot in the entirety of the second half.
I mean, our center shot 58% from the field tonight. 58%, okay? I mean, they shot the ball really well. Hannah gets 1 shot in the second half. We have to have faith in them. Right now, I don't know that we do, and we have to have faith in them.
Iowa returned to Carver to take on the Drake Bulldogs, hoping to bounce back from the tough loss. And the Iowa Hawkeye football team lost another key player this past week, as Iowa's All-American cornerback and punt returner Cooper DeJean is out for the rest of the season with a lower leg injury. DeJean is now added to a long list of Iowa starters to join the injury cast, as QB Cade McNamara and both starting tight ends Luke Lachey and Eric All have been ruled out for the season.
There are certain things you just can't avoid, and this is a deal where his foot was planted and he twisted in a way that something had to give. So it's just unfortunate, because he's one of the better players I've ever been around, and does it in such a quiet, graceful way. But boy, I tell you, he's one hell of a football player, and he's a great young guy, just a tremendous guy. But boy, talk about getting to play football.
And heading into the Illinois matchup, some of Iowa's senior football players reflect on their years as a Hawkeye.
I'm really grateful for the time that I've spent here. I've been here just over 3 years, and I've played 4 full seasons.
I would taught me how to just take care of my business and just preparing me for life after football.
My biggest accomplishment I've had, and I'm going to say this in my life, is just being a team captain, being voted by my teammates to, lead them is something that, I'll take with me for the rest of my life.
It's a good university, so I recommend it to other students, I guess. Yeah.
Being here for so long, I've obviously had so many teammates and got to meet so many amazing people and become friends with so many great guys. Couldn't have asked for a better 6 years of college.
These seniors will swarm the field for their final game at Kinnick Stadium. The Hawkeyes will face the Fighting Illini tomorrow with a kickoff at 2:30. And this week's kid captain Cooper Estenson is from North Liberty. DITV's Aiden Wirtz has more on the hometown kid's story.
It's been kind of a roller coaster. Coop's had a lot of really good months, and then we'd have a setback. We'd be in the hospital for a couple of weeks or be diagnosed with something else.
He just, keeps kicking the can down the road with everything we got to do, everything he has to do.
Cooper Estenson is your average 11-year-old. He plays football, basketball, and loves to golf. But in November of 2021, Coop faced his toughest opponent, T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a blood cancer that begins in the bone marrow and spreads to other organs.
Started out, it's just kind of a surreal thing, and it almost takes you months to fully comprehend, what is really going on. It was absolutely brutal.
But Cooper kept on fighting, and the big Christmas fan has been smiling through it all.
I think maybe he'll look back on this experience and everything that he's been through and realize that there's no obstacles in life that he can't overcome.
He's a very courageous, very brave, and he doesn't really complain.
During hard times when it was hard to kind of push through, I just kept my head up and kept fighting through it.
This week's kid captain for Iowa has battled, and Cooper is set to ring the cancer treatment bell in April of next year. From the University of Iowa, Aiden Wirtz, DITV.
Thanks, Aiden. What an incredible kiddo with an incredible journey. And the Iowa soccer team has reached the second round of the NCAA Women's Soccer Tournament. The 5th-seeded Hawkeyes kick off against the 4th-seeded Georgia Bulldogs today at 1 o'clock in Clemson, South Carolina. A win against the Bulldogs will advance the Hawkeyes to the 3rd round, where they will take on the winner of the 8th-seeded Columbia Lions versus the top-seeded Clemson Tigers. The Hawkeyes have had a stellar offensive showing last time out, as they had 31 shots with 10 on goal to shut out the Bucknell Bisons 2-0. And the Iowa men's wrestling coach Tom Brands expressed his frustration with recent sports gambling investigations regarding his team. In a recent press conference, Brands acknowledged that penalties should be modernized for players involved.
The questions being asked should be talking about why was University of Iowa and Iowa State targeted only. These guys, they didn't lie. They didn't cheat. They did nothing illegal. A 21-year-old can gamble. A 21-year-old is a junior in college. A 1-year ban is a death sentence.
In a previous statement on November 8th, the coaching staff claimed there were 4 players suspended due to sports wagering. 2 of these players have filed appeals to resume play. Iowa's wrestling team will match up against Oregon State on Sunday, November 19th, and later against Iowa State on Sunday, November 26th. And the Iowa men's basketball team will take on the Arkansas State Red Wolves tonight at 7 p.m. in Carver Hawkeye Arena. The Hawks are fresh off their first loss of the season to the 8th-ranked Creighton Blue Jays, who shut down Iowa's strong outside offense and defeated them 92-84. Fifth-year Ben Krikke was the star of the show for the Hawkeyes, working down low in the paint with the most minutes and points for the Hawks. Krikke had 4 offensive rebounds and went 11 for 18 at the charity stripe, netting 24 points for the game. Ashley, tough loss last night, but so many things to be excited for. We have the soccer tournament and our final game, a football game as seniors.
It hurts being a senior sometimes, but it's exciting to see I'm excited to see the Hawks take the field one last time, as I am a student. And thank you for tuning in to DITV News and listening to KRUI 89.7 FM.
Be sure to head over to thedailyiowan.com for all your latest news between Monday and Friday.
For DITV News, I'm Ashley Wheel.
I'm David Consuelos.
And we will be back after fall break.
Have a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving.